Coming into challenges too, Envy definitely felt like as a roster that had a lot to prove. Always considered sort of number 2 in North America behind Sentinels, who generally managed to get a little bit further than them through the challenges process so far. No more does that seem to be the case. Already having dispatched Sentinels to the lower bracket, maybe a rematch in the future, but now they turn up against Immortals, the young guns, the upstarts, and they start to clown on them a little bit in the second half on Bind, Jordan.
I think they're trying to send a message here. We were talking about their past results from the Open Qualifier, and Ascent now is another map where I think Immortals won, like, I read like 13-5 or 13-6 the first time they played against each other. So, you know, like we said, it's a matchup of two different styles here. Envious, maybe a little bit more proddy and information gathered. Still a team that's good at scaling. You saw players like Crashies get massive frags in the extremities and take ground. Food winning a lot of big rounds. Immortals, though, they have a ton of skills. You saw them at the end of first half win some great fights and have some great defensive reactions. I just think when they weren't finding those picks on offense, their kind of strategy fell a little bit flat here. So I'm looking forward to see if they can replicate what they did last time on Ascent and, you know, get some stuff going early. Shot up if he's still going to pick Breach again. See if they can get some early plays going on, like I said, the extremities of the map here. Because I think if they start winning early fights, that will get in Envy's head, because Envy's then going to kind of turtle up, maybe play more passive, and then their aggressive style is only going to compound from there.
I mean, and Envy's ability to actually, you know, execute some of these side hits gets greatly diminished when they're, you know, when they come into these fights short-handed, right? I think something that we often saw is that I would argue the first kill to death ratio definitely favored Envy in that previous game, because they're sitting back and they're, you know, they're maybe using the fact that, you know, Immortals had such a proclivity to fight over bathroom or showers rather against them, and you know, it feels almost inexorable against a team like Envy, right? Once they have the player advantage on you, they just seem to slowly choke you out of certain parts of the map before they go for some sort of clean execute. I mean, Ascent's the kind of map here where, you know, we obviously mid is definitely a factor here. This is such a good map for Immortals in general. I think the only time they lost recently, I want to say, is to Luminosity. And this is, another map though where they have shot up on that breach, like you mentioned. So I wonder how they go without that extra duelist again.
Well, this is what I'm concerned about is, first of all, Envious has the confidence from the first map win. Envious is starting on defense here, right? So I think Immortals' key right now comes on offense. I think they need to show up strong right away on offense. So if they don't get off to a strong start and they don't shake off what happened in that last map, because it's so easy to get caught into it, but they need to drop last map. They need to focus on right now and have a good offensive side right here. Because I think if they could do that, they could take Ascent. I think if Immortals starts off slow here, they might not ever get into the game here, and we might see a 13-9 here for the Envious.
Straight into agent select here, and as we kind of speculated, it is the Killjoy bridge combo for Immortals here, and no surprises on the side of Envy. Caboose now, of course, gets to pick up the Reyna here, and gets to cause a little bit of trouble. We see a few teams sort of really try and get extensive play from Reyna through, especially the middle part of the map. We know Immortals on this map, especially on defense, they like to stack Shot Up and Nature together on the B side, or on a site in particular. Just make it really, really hard to crack that site, and then hope that having 3 players over at one of the other sites is going to allow them to do something with it. On offense, though, Shot Up has to, you know, is looking to initiate a lot of these site hits, but in the past, we've seen Shot Up actually set up his own entry kills. At some point, you have to wonder if that's going to be working against a team like Envy. Immortals have gotten a lot of mileage out of it in the past, but, you know, again, we'll see. They try and take this early mid control quite often, and then they want to hard execute through Catwalk or something similar, Jordan. So, I mean, our eyes are open now to see how Immortals go about this, and they really need an early lead here to get some momentum back in their favor, because you said it. You felt like Envy were trying to make a statement, kind of clowning a little bit there at the end of Bind.
We're moving into it now, and, you know, we're talking about their aggression. They're all grouped up towards A. We have 4 peoples from Envious at A here, so are we going to see a battle from the beginning of the round? That's highly likely right now. They don't know how many people are A main yet. They break the camera. They have an idea that they're there. And it looks like it's about to begin here with Jet out in front here, dashing into the bomb site, and they have the site mostly clear, except 2 under balcony, and they're going to go into trades here. But Immortals is coming out on top so far of the trades.
Envy with 2 players to work with now. You have to work in with Caboose on this Reyna here. Running a little bit low on bullets. Yeah, has to swap up the Frenzy there, as he was running a little bit low in ammo reserve. And I mean, from this range, I mean, we love the Frenzy in general, but you're facing down 4 of that exact same weapon at a different angle, so there's no pie to be sliced there, so to speak, for Caboose. And there's that trademark aggression, right? The jet dash in through A main, despite the fact Chemicals gets hit with the paranoia early, he's able to bounce back and recover, and Nature finds 2.
And right away, that's exactly what I was excited about. I wanted them to get off on the right foot, and I think that's exactly what they just did with that aggression. Now, like we said, we're still in the old patch for the remainder of these matches. So the Stinger buy comes back. Last map, we saw both teams win the second round after losing Pistol. So they're not completely out in the open yet, but Immortals here starting off strong in the second map.
Crashy's our drone gets hit with a heck of a lot. It looks like maybe Immortals anticipating some early aggression from Envy. That's not really there. So they walk onto a site they have very little information about. Still, who needs information when you can go brrr, shot up, gets rid of FNS and Chemicals, head straight onto the site. And there's no one sat in Boathouse right now, so Immortals are sitting pretty.
Get off the tracks when the train's coming through as Immortal just starts with the Omen flash and they wrap all around Boat. Mitch, and I love the sound effects you provided there. I might need you to do that a couple more times for me. Maybe even when I'm streaming, can you just be in there the whole time? Just
I will cast your gameplay, and if it doesn't put you off, I'll be there, bro. I usually watch your stream a little bit now anyway, so just pipe me in, bro.
That's good. So Envy is probably looking to find a couple exits here, huh? I mean, they don't have a chance at winning the round. It looks like they've accepted that, but they're trying to close off the exit spawn here, and it's not really doing anything. As this is what I love about Immortals, and what I was hoping is that they'd bring the aggression. They shut them down, take away all the weapons, and only lose one man in the action.
And I mean, this is what you prefer to see, right? You win the pistol, and then you're actually able to win that anti-eco, right? You can deal with the stingers. Obviously, if you use your own effectively, and you just wash over the top. So we've seen very little from Envy so far, as they've really not had much of an opportunity to do anything in these early rounds. And we'll see now from Immortals now making some upgrades here, but still with the stingers for the most part as Envy. You really just have to sit back and, well, this round 3 is going to be a pretty under-geared one for them as well. Flashpoint. Who dropped back a little bit now out of position, and Chemicals again. The dash cloud bursts into the side. He knows someone's there on the other side of the smoke, and FNS gets riddled with bullets. Now only 3 players left, and once more Envy find themselves decidedly on the back foot. Caboose able to find a bit of a backstab here. Gets rid of JC Starny. No opportunity to pick up a weapon, but the dismiss keeps him out of harm's reach when the fault line comes through.
Massive 2-kill from there. I was about to say the round's over again in 30 seconds here, but Caboose with the massive flank, still giving him a little bit of life here, but shut up, maintaining that aggression that we love. And that split-second decision versus turtling in the bomb site there, Mitch, gave them an opportunity to immediately take back ground and go into a 3-0 lead there. But again, what was that? 15 seconds into the round, and the round was essentially over. You know, if they were watching their flank properly, I don't even think Envy would have had a chance here, but Caboose doing a great job to get those 2 kills. But that round was almost over immediately, and I'm curious to see if Immortals is going to maintain this type of pacing as we head into the first big boom round, the big gunners.
How are Envy supposed to get information on what Immortals are doing here early? How are they supposed to have any sort of presence of mind coming into like a defensive execute situation?
Sorry, say that again.
Well, I mean, how do Envy get the info on what Immortals are doing? Because they just constantly just get sort of jumped on, and they don't have time to do any sort of scouting.
Well, it really comes down to just your early round setup being dialed in. Now, those previous rounds were stingers and stuff that, you rely on these close range fights and abilities playing off teamwork well. So at B, we have a Sova and Cypher, which is super strong in these gun rounds, especially when they're not rushing. It allows them to lean heavily towards the A-bomb site. So really, you just hope you win those early fights and have good contingency plans for when they do. So right here, boom, trade, dismiss. And this is exactly what we need out of Envy. Caboose able to get information and win fights and put them in an advantageous situation here. But Immortals is not letting up here, as they're going to keep pressing into the A-bomb site and force Envy to hold the ground, which they do, as Mame gets 2 frags and it's now down just to Nature.
Yeah, Nature ain't seeing very much right now here with the paranoia. Also probably dealing with separation anxiety because he was the last one standing and FNS cleans him up. Okay, let's talk about this. Because I haven't asked you this before. Reyna seems so good at punishing teams who want to play contact without much utility to set up, right? Like the fact that Caboose can just kill, dismiss, kill, and run back. He turns a one and done into an actual legitimate holding situation.
2-kill plus information, which is why I still think at the pro level, Reyna is going to be fine after the patch. Not as good, but those first 2 kills in a lot of situations have the domino effect of setting up the trade. That could have even went better for NVS. It already went awesome, but if that guy close right on Cat, I forget who it was, would have also got his kill, then the round over, Reyna gets extra info, and they're set up in a beautiful position. So again, he's in another position where if he has support, he might be able to get out here with the breach clear.
aftershock. It has to be there, and Caboose faces a
so
firing
beautiful.
squad.
One of the best parts about picking Breach on this map right there, Mitch.
Yeah, I mean, you actually, it's hard to clear wine without the breach, you know, on this map. Like, you can't really do it with the Leer. It's obviously not the same if you have a Rainer instead or something similar. Still, Envy hold their ground so far on this A side. Chemicals trying to forge ahead on the site, and Food's going to send himself in with a curveball. Spike is down in nature. Guys, Bueller? No? Okay.
That was a great ult by Food there, and I could see Food's confidence. You could see the way he's swinging. He's whipping the Phoenix curveballs, and he's peeking with them every time the offense is kind of coming to his area. So I love that aggression. You know, and you were saying how else could you clear wine? You know, there's a couple ways, but it could be costly. You could use your raised paint shells if you got them. You know, you could use a Sova drone or dart, but it's you know, it's not as easy as simply just throwing the breach clear. And that is literally what it's designed for, is those spots where people are stuck in a corner. So it is one of the reasons you've seen other people mess with breach on this map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There is where I don't think somehow. I guess that's kind of, you know, that's a bit of an antithesis to Caboose, because they're the kind of spots that he likes to play in. That's the kind of spot where you can get a backstab kill and dismiss away for absolutely free. Caboose will have to be just a little bit more creative in how he opts to find those opportunities.
Yeah.
As the smoke clears, it's Envy with 2 on the trot here, and oh, sorry. Yes, I mean, so Immortals now down to pretty little.
Pretty little economy, but if they do find a kill, they do have the breach ult. I think they have Hunter's Fury. They have a couple opportunities here if they get a kill to capitalize. Say maybe they kill a guy Market here, the Omen, and then they know the guys are B site. That's where the breach Earthquake comes in, and they're able to scale and get some good trades here. So we'll see how the picks go here. Gonna be tough if Envy plays these angles smart, but where there's a will, there's a way.
Gangster revealed in the middle of the map, and he's shot up now. It's just starting to move back through. This could be a Rolling Thunder through Market or through B main. I mean, Gangster, that's a free one. You'd love to see it. Here comes the execute. Quick as you like, the dash on the side from Chemicals. He was holding the spike, though, and that now has been dropped along with his rear end. Crassy's going to sit up in the corner here. And there is, of course, FNS sitting inside Boathouse. Plenty to work with here for Envy, and what looked like it could be a really spicy take from Immortals gets shut down and stopped in its tracks.
I thought my narrative was about to come true there as they opened up with the Sheriff kill on the Omen on Mame and Market there. They just didn't have the space. Envy did a good job there of just kind of swarming fast, throwing utility to not make them feel comfortable using that breach ult. But depending on Shot Up's positioning, he might have been able to get that off, and they could have traded site. But maybe they opted to say, hey, there's no guarantee that we win the round. You know, they might rotate and kill us, so they want to save the breach ult for a gun round here. And so now Immortals with 3 solid site clearing ults right here with the Killjoy ult. Just going to set up maybe clear the extremities early here and try to establish a little bit of map control. And this might be, you know, it might be the only time you actually see Immortals play somewhat slower, is when they have all the ults that they know they're trying to set their game plan up.
Right, I mean, they want to try and, you know, make sure the site that they're hitting is actually the best. Oh, what? Are you kidding? Oh, no, JC Stani. Want fries with that? He gets burnt down, sat in the corner, and, I mean, those big ultimates are still available for Immortals. Losing Stani doesn't change that, but that one less player. We know what Envy can do when they're up an individual, and Immortals have to find a way to cobble some kind of execute together on towards A.
And Gangsta here has his recon dart, so if he wants, he can push back the tree room peeker. I hope he used it rather than just dying here for no reason. I'm sure he wants to save the dart for his team. And also, if he uses the dart too early right here, he might forecast a hit. So see, especially now that they're falling back, he might actually stay tree room just to put a little pressure here. But if that's even going to be a factor, yet to be seen here as FNS goes down in defense spawn here, or offense spawn here. I'm tempted to say T-spawn here sometimes still. And Mame finally getting that kill, and that's actually massive because that tells them, look, they're still coming back A. Envy's going to hold A, and the situation just got a little bit more tricky for Immortals.
This is desperation now for Immortals. A Rolling Thunder gets used in the end, but Envy had enough time to recover. In fact, Caboose had time to put his feet up and have a cup of tea. Food finds 3, and Immortals now are burnt through so much of that utility, so much of those big ultimates, and they come out no better than they started. 4 rounds in a row for Envy, and Food is continuing to exercise his dominance.
So this is what I don't like about Gangsta's death right there on Catwalk. His team gets to kill Spawn, right? And he's trying to be the kind of thorn in the side for the defense there coming up Catwalk. If your team's coming out A main late anyways, The only way you die is if someone comes to clear you. Otherwise, they're going to stay in their position. If he just stays still there on catwalk, I know in hindsight is 2020, we could see everything from here, but I was thinking that from the get-go. If he just stays still, he would be having a chance. Oh, here's a big 4K option here as the recon dart comes through and gives FNS 2 kills and a much more damage here, and Envy in another position to set up that brick wall defense that we were talking about.
Envy look like they're happy to play in the mud with Immortals now. And Gangster's stuck in B main here with very little in this Owl drone. Well, that's all information gained. They don't know anything about JC Starney's position, but Crashies is quick on the uptake and he knows what's coming. Envy put Immortals to bed once more. And yeah, Immortals definitely starting to feel a little frazzled now on their attacking side. Again, shot up, unable to create those really vital opportunities to hit a site. In the past, we've seen Immortals, you know, put Lockdown and Rolling Thunder together. They haven't had a chance to do that, but this could have been even nastier, Jordan. Yeah,
I mean, great damage done by FNS. I mean, you kind of try to trace after the dart there what you can get done, but
sure.
You know, I think Immortals, they're playing scrappy right now. They haven't got anything done in these gun rounds, and I think that's why I talked about their gameplay being a little bit one-dimensional. I like that they're slowing it down a little, although their bread and butter just seems to come with pacing. So hopefully they could find these early round picks, because so far Envy's just winning all the trades, and that seems to just tell the tale for the rest of the round.
Flashpoint, oh my, Chemicals has his bell rung. And of course, Caboose was able to get out of there essentially. Another flashpoint used here, in Food not in the position to trade. He actually used a runner back beforehand. He as well is going to get knocked over, and this is a golden opportunity presenting itself now for Immortals. Lockdown was used but destroyed. JC Starney pushes deep up here on this A side, and FNS has to try and make something happen here from heaven. I don't think he needs a neural theft. He knows where everybody is, but that's the trade there. Shot up gets shut up, but JC Starney is in the mix. Crashies now in the 1v2. Oh, the timing! JC Starney wasn't ready for that at all, and Nature is extremely low in HP. Turret recalled here. Crashies just getting a lot of this utility activated here, making it really, really hard for Nature to do too much. That's that second nano swarm. No more stalling left. Crashy still has enough time to defuse, but has no idea where Nature's coming from, and the backstab pays off. Immortals get this one, but it's by the skin of their teeth.
Great 1v1 there to play, but it's so funny, like, right when they get that, Caboose gets that first kill on Cat, like, Immortals, I'm glad to see them keep their pedal to the metal right there on Catwalk, and who was that? I think it was Gangster. Someone swung through Food's Molotov there, and they get the kill, and that's so important to see out of them. It might seem a little bullheaded there, but that's their bread and butter, and I think they need to keep that essence true there. They get the trades, and they take the bomb site, and it sets them up for a situation. Now, Envy still probably could have closed that out, but they got the round, and Immortals did it with a lot of confidence and bravado, so I like to see that out of them.
Slightly slower play here for Immortals once more, and it's a lot of dark cover used in the middle of the map, so Envy have to go elsewhere for info, like right here. Crashies knows someone's lurking deep outs. I mean, this gives essentially control of B main now to Envy. Crashies can forge ahead in there and get rid of the turret.
That's super powerful what Crashies just did, to just throw a dart, break the turret. He's off 45 seconds. It forces two Immortals guys to kind of look at it. They're doing it smart. They're saying that's probably just them breaking our info. They're not going to push. They expect we watch it. I like that Immortals is regrouping here, and I actually think this is where they find their strengths. They got to be careful with noise here, though, as Envy is heavy off Catwalk here, but they're going to have the site for free, and I think they're going to take it because that's their style, baby. And Jet dashes on, and this is where the post plant starts. If they don't get any kills here, though, and Envious stays tight together, this might be tough for Immortals to close if they don't find any picks.
Right, though, full retake mode for Envy now. JC Starney's in a position on top of Jenny, which is often not checked. Even going up against Omens there, he's able to use the Shrouded Step just to find a little bit more of an odd angle. You can see now, this is how the retake gets put together. Caboose is low, and Gangster says, okay, I'll spot you. That's really enough for me right now. Food going to try and use the Blaze Wall to get in position on Heaven, but again, can't see much of what's happening on the site. Flashes himself now. The wheels starting to fall off the bus a little bit here, and shot up, runs Food over. It's just Mummy left now, and he just gets aim punched straight out of that dark cover. Nicely done by Immortals, and Envy here. Maybe you need to offer a little bit more respect than to just, you know, put themselves in a retake against a team as nasty as Immortals.
Yeah, you don't need my analysis if you're watching this to see that Immortals is getting a little bit of confidence. They're taking more fights across the board, and I'm enjoying that. I think that was key all along. I'm glad to see they won some rounds that didn't require them to just rush right away. But still, their bread and butter does seem to be somewhat simple. Kind of the pee-wee soccer analogy where everyone's just in a group and running around together. That seems to be what they do best. Is they keep it simple and they get aggressive.
Make a death ball and see if they can break through the front door. Gangster there doesn't really get anything that's particularly interesting, although Crashy's endangered species right now. Hunter's Fury, though, doesn't claim the kill. And, well, okay, they're going to make the execute on towards this site regardless. Food's forced back a little bit there by the Nana Swarm, but oh, are you kidding? The spray down seems so unlikely in that situation. Not only does Food get to, he survives. And that just takes the wind out of Immortals' sails as they try and execute with what they have left. JC Stani gets in there as a headshot on Mummy, but Food makes it free for the round.
Massive trades.
He's done all he can. Now the rest of Envy have to get onto the site, but JC Stani's not having it. He gets free himself. What a messy round, and Food, his best, wasn't enough.
What a turnaround there. And, you know, I was thinking, could they have not done something better? Maybe an Omen Smoke for Market there to give them a little bit more love. I guess they wanted to maybe keep Food there so that the damage was done by the Killjoy nades. But then, you know, Immortals, pedal to the metal, baby. I'm going to keep repeating that phrase because Stanley, was it, who got the first frag coming downstairs and then just opens up the floodgates for the rest of the boys to come in the sidewalk. Those are massive round to win after Food gets those 2 kills. So I'm loving to see the little bit of turnaround from Immortals here.
Last round of the half now, and Immortals have all of the kit that they need to make something happen. That is just a strange variation. Just a random wide swing from Caboose on A main gets a huge kill, and look at this information.
I love this right now. You're matching fire with fire here as you're saying, hey, listen, I'm not just going to sit back in the bomb site the whole time. Smart drone here from Gangsta as it's going to help them out, but he still has an angle and he's Reyna. This is what he's built for.
Ooh, but the reign of the Empress is cut short. Caboose knew he was in a bit of a compromising position. That Aldrone spotting him out kind of makes him look the fool. Blade Storm here by Chemicals, and yeah, it looks like Immortals are going to try and make this a pretty quick hit. And again, there won't be exactly a very deep presence here. Blades being thrown just like the Drake gift, but Chemicals has to resort to the rifle in the end to get the job done, and it works out.
Wow. Quite the series of events here as Caboose tries to match it fire with fire, and Food doing the same thing and just saying really quick, hold this bullet for me as he tosses 3 John Wicks straight at Immortals' face there, and it's a 6-6 round. And everything, you know, I think Food and Caboose right now are just setting the tone for the rest of the team, saying, hey, boys, keep fighting, keep staying aggressive, and we're going to shut this team down.
Food giving a bit of that Baba Yaga there. I'm going to pick up my jaw off the ground. In the meantime, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back with the second half of Ascent. It's 6 apiece here between Envy and Immortals.
Money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the 808.
slow start for Envious here on the Ascent. On the attacking side, they string 5 together, but then Immortals strike back. They bookend the first half with streaks of 3 rounds. And that's what makes this even spicier. You guys all voted in chat who you thought would take Ascent. 55% of you said Envy, obviously to 45 for IMT. So your prediction is about as close as this game has been so far. And we're into the second half with Immortals on defense, Jordan.
Yeah, and you know, last map, Immortals defense looked pretty solid. They had some good reactions here. So I'm seeing Envious. I think the secret sauce for Envious to take down Immortals is give them some of their own medicine. I think aggression, which we're seeing right now as they come up catwalk, is going to be the key for them to close out some of this rounds as half.
Immortals is going to have to add some habanero to that recipe, though, and get their skates on because the spike is down. Gangster finds Caboose early in this round here, and Food's able just to nestle himself here under. Doesn't actually have hot hands available, so can't do that cheeky little molly that goes on the box. JC Starning's very low, but the frenzy just seems to be insanely reliable at long range. The Immortals now find themselves in the 3v1, and Crashies has it all to do.
Very unlikely to win this situation here. Decent effort to get aggressive on the retake right there.
I mean,
that's not bad. That's a good effort.
Could be worse. I mean, bear in mind, that's the second pistol I think the Envy have lost now on this particular map, and they keep it competitive at 6 rounds. So, you know, those Envy fans maybe don't be too upset because a lot of their brilliance tends to come out when they have the actual weaponry to make a proper execute. Speaking of weaponry, Jordan, yep, one's going to be stingers everywhere.
The bee sting is coming. Yeah, we got, what do we have, 9, 10? Oh, 9, and 1 Spectre there. Gangsta, why'd you have to do this to us? I mean, what is it? Every single second round has been won by the other team so far, right? No. Yeah?
Not in this map.
No, not first half. It almost happened first half. That's right. It came down to a close situation. I was talking about it happening. It didn't happen. It happened last map, though. And so, very viable chance for her, Envy, to win this round right here. And I love the catwalk scaling here. And it could just properly punish Immortals here. As Immortals is close to A main here and might not be expecting it. But the smokes might work against them here as they go into tree room. Having an opportunity, though, to trade chemicals right now, Heaven.
Chemicals is... Oh, he's not ready. But speaking about chemical reactions, he at least gets himself a trade. Caboose, actually, does he devour? Maybe, yes, he doesn't get the full channel, though. I think he moves out of line of sight of the soul, so he doesn't get as much health back as he maybe would have liked. Maybe the orb's still around the corner for him, but spike down, post plant, 4 versus 3, and again, Envy... They come with the spicy sauce, and they get on the side.
That was going to be an interesting fight there because I was like, Spectre's about to beat the Stinger, but he got support from his teammate, and Immortal's doing a good job right now to keep the teamwork tight.
Pushing smokes. I mean, that is what Envy are trying to do now, just to try and catch Immortals off guard. Caboose had a generator. Gangster was ready for it. And okay, the Spectre. Put some respect on that name. Gangster's able to use that in this round. The only one obviously takes a slightly higher range weapon, even though it has lower penetration, and is able to clean up 3 quick kills. And this is where Immortals make the comeback to try and force a 1-1 in the series.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be a one-sided effort here from the boys, and I'm loving to see Immortals stay strong here. That's not a gimme round by any means, so to win with 2 guys alive is just fine. They're happy. They're going into this match now with gun round, a little bit of momentum and economy on their side. So couldn't be happier, I think, as Immortals here. They had, their defense was strong last map. I think the offense was the key. 6 rounds, to me, is enough for them to be able to close this out, depending on how Envy decides to answer.
Now, this is very classic Immortals here. They stack the Breach and the Killjoy on the same site. So a ton of utility, ton of disruption available on B for Immortals defense. Envy, though, would love to draw some of that out if they can. They will here. Flashpoint. Caboose was actually ahead of it at the time, but not able to find anything. Shock dart used there. And this is, again, Envy trying to draw and force Immortals to part with some of his precious abilities. Chemicals tries to burst through the smoke, and now Food wasn't ready for that.
Ground taken there. Interesting. I thought something might have been able to happen there with FNS creeping up closely, but Shot Up playing super well there on the stairs this round, and one of the MVPs of the round there is he just stands strong, uses his flashes and utility as well to give himself advantageous fights. I love when they use the fault line there. Is that what the... I always forget if that's what it's called there. Properly, yeah. When you use it properly...
Aftershock and Flashpoint.
It's one of the most satisfying things when you hit someone with that when they're on the move. When I'm playing comp or something, I love that. So great play there by Shot Up, and we're gonna see them come confidently into the gun rounds, fully equipped.
I mean, that was the classic sort of round 3 of shame after you forced Stingers in round 2 for Envy, right? They had nothing to work with. Now rifles for everybody. We'll see what they can make do with that. Chemicals is lucky to get out with his life. He actually doesn't use a tailwind to escape there. He's confident enough to be able to walk away, and he was correct. Comes back for the peak, finds food. All of a sudden, Envy looking a bit deflated early this round. Here comes the push. Oh no! Envy have all their presence stymied on the A side, and I think Mummy is trying to make something happen here through Tree. Still,
it's funny. The offense is in the bomb site and defense is in the main area. I love this out of Immortals though early, as the aggression is setting them up for a unique scenario that I think this is where they thrive in now. FNS looking to even up the situation here as it's still 3 versus 3 for Envy, or for Immortals rather. And now Camus, last guy landed. That was so funny that I looked and I was like, wait a second. Caboose is backside. They're all A main. What is happening right now? But yeah, how awesome is that A main push? And we talked about it before. I think the extremities, those fights at the A main and the B main earlier are going to be massive. This time is A main and bomb plant. If Caboose could even get a couple kills here, he'd be stoked.
Empress popped. That's 1. Caboose looking for more. Nature approaches on the side tentatively, and it's just a stinger of respect. Like, Caboose has a Vandal in Empress. Nature has a stinger and nothing else. It just walks on up on the guy, just T-poses on his body. Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness. It's you know, and do we see that now after the patch change, Mitch?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, at longer ranges, the stinger has a lot more vertical kick now. As well, which makes it obviously a little bit harder to sort of connect at that sort of range. So we should expect to see the stopping power somewhat reduced, but obviously, Jordan, nothing's changed about the way that running and gunning with those weapons works. So it's just sort of like a numerical tweak to the effectiveness of the weapon. And,
yeah. Well, a little bit more of a chill start here for Immortals, but as I say that, the walk push A main here out of Omen and Sova, just kind of getting that early information, and this is where they thrive. Now, if they don't see anything in the next couple seconds, Sova's going to slide over. He's going to be watching Catwalk. And then this is where I use the term 3.5 last map. It's when you have that half guy leaning, and he's able to provide support sooner than you would think. So sometimes that's the big difference of just simply having people hold a site, which they have right here. They already have Omen on the big flank, which is going to make a big difference that they could confidently hold the site here.
I mean, Envy have the unenviable situation of trying to force their way out of market right now to a team that's ready for him. FNS finds JC Stunny, but Caboose is down. Okay, here's some info for you. Neural theft used, and the bomb, or the spike, should I say, is very quickly heading in the A direction. It is just going to be the one play against it at A right now. As this spike goes down to Mummy, looking for a backstab, but he's a little bit off pace. He's a little bit too far behind.
There's a chance here, and depending on how well Crashies and FNS due to delay right here, he might be able to have some impact, but he doesn't want to just simply run. So right here, that dink is going to help, but they're going to just dash over the smoke, and it's not going to be enough. And after looking around for a couple seconds, I bet one of them will at least be aware, hey, he could be flanking.
Mummy gets there. Defuse it down! No! The man
he couldn't
forgot to reload! And he just gets embalmed by Immortals. And I just think extend that lead, man. Oh, that's not okay.
Well, he probably couldn't reload because of the flank, right, Mitch? So he probably was just forced. He was never sure if someone maybe was tree room watching the flank. So he probably could have reloaded if he had known they were all scaling out heaven, but he was forced to keep the ammo right there, and that's a tough situation.
I mean, you either give yourself away or try and do it with 7 bullets. So it's not an easy job either way for Mummy. So
yeah, he would have had to like one tap the second guy and then hide, and then even then, you know.
Yeah, in 7 trillion realities, only one of them actually works out for him, you know?
Yeah.
11-6, man. Immortals just laying it on thick right now. Chemicals doing some pest control through mid.
Yep, and still staying somewhat aggressive A main here, and I thought it's just so powerful with the drone and using this utility, because now you're just so aware, hey, look, Sova's going to come help Cat. They're able to focus together on Cat. Even if the trades don't go their way, the rotate and the reaction is going to be much purer. But I'm surprised actually Stanny didn't have Sova with him right there, as they had info A main was clear. Regardless of first 4v5, I think we've seen in a couple rounds for Immortals in the beginning of the round here.
This will still be a slower execute. You see the Mummy sitting back at B-Link with the spike still, and Crashies might just be the sacrificial lamb here as they swing this corner. They have a decent idea. Someone's in tree. I don't know if they know that Gangster is as close as he is. Dark cover. Okay, this is going to force Gangster out of position. Or will it? That is disgusting! Gangster gets crashed. That's also vertical recon Bolton. I mean, he won't see the other two cross by, but I mean, you get a freebie kill there essentially.
Back to a evened up situation though, as Nature now takes another kill, and it's a 4 versus 3, but he's alone on the bomb side. Is he going to get one more? No. Caboose able to take him down, and now under 3 versus 3, Caboose going to keep trying to apply pressure here as he's in the headshot angle, ready to swing and get one. Garage broken. FNS smartly covering the smoke there as his Omen has to jump across, and now it's turned into a 3 versus 1 as Envy's going to pick up their first round here.
Chemicals may be forced to part with this hard-earned operator here. You love that from FNS, right? He knows that the sound cue coming from Mummy, you know, Shrouded stepping across is going to draw Gangster out of Garden, and he's ready. That is instinct. You cannot teach that. And now Chemicals says, no, I think I actually fancy hoarding this weapon for the time being. Envy, this is an incredibly hard-fought round, and they managed to pull it off there by just taking it slow. They come through camera, they take that mid control, they leave Mummy back in B-Link, so they're not committed to A at all until they're really able to make their way through. Yeah,
and you know, I'm surprised the trades didn't go a little better for Envy right away, but it was great dart at the tree right there. I've seen Hiko use that one a couple times. I got to remember that one and caught myself there mid. It's a great dart there, but yeah, I was surprised Stanley didn't have a little more support from the get-go. I don't know if he's getting a little cocky, but you know, you always talk about that fine line between confidence and arrogance, and I think it's fine that Immortals is erring a little bit towards the side of arrogance right now because it sets a tone for the remaining of the match. Now that they have the lead on the rounds here, I want them to keep fighting for the extremities. Just make sure you're coordinating before you take these isolated fights.
That was the Immortals losing that early player last round. To put them behind the 8 ball. That's dark cover. Got to cover up Cubby. And the Owl drone. Again, Sally's fourth. And maybe they guess that shot up was close to market based on the sound of the fault line, but that's all that Envy get. Speculation and sound cues. Oh, you're never ready for that though, are you? My God. Clever position there from JC Sunny. Yeah,
good bait and switch right there to get an early kill. Now they're able to kind of reset and hold a little bit more passive angles. Food here though with the ult, they ready, it's coming. It's going to give him much info. It doesn't give them much, and I'm surprised he ran that while he was alone here, but it looks like he's doing that because his team is opting into a fast B-slit here as Caboose is running down the stairs, not going to find anything. Food does catch a kill on the rotates, and Caboose gets the frag on the back site secured, and now they're in a unique 3 versus 4 situation where they have the advantage here in the bomb site.
It's possible that Shot Up misreads where Envy are coming from there. He actually uses Rolling Thunder on mid and market, but most of Envy are executing actually from B main. Gangster's able to lurk late, finds food. There is other security available here for Envy though, so I mean, Crash is just committed to the site, so it's unlikely we see that in this particular round, but a 3v3 retake. Gangster wants the information. Mummy sits back now as well. Time is short. Immortals, they have to go now. Looks like Speedway is going to be the play here. Shot Up drops in, finds one. It's Batman! Oh no! Immortals get the job done. Gangster going to attempt the defuse here, and nice little quick hit onto that side for Immortals. And they're going to make it punishing for Envy there. That hurts. And Immortals get a match point.
It's interesting because it wasn't actually that unusual round. When I said that, I was like, oh, actually, never mind. There should be like a decent hold here for Envy, like post-plant wise. And then Shot Up and the rest of the boys with their aggression drop into the site and have great pacing right here. Look at this as he jumps in and gets that frag. Shot Up killed the guy back arch early. And now, I don't know, I couldn't see it from Caboose's point of view, but you know, when you're the farther guy, you shouldn't be the first one to peek, because when you're playing a bait and trade setup, the guy closer, you want him to get contact, because if he gets killed, the guy farther has more depth to the angle to fight versus vice versa. And I think they had that kind of backwards, maybe thinking they were going to win the trades kind of regardless, but all it takes the first lost fight here. And now Immortals is on match point here, and Envy's trying to take a round away quickly as they scale through market, Mitch.
They throw the dark cover there as well towards Defender spawn, so Gangster has to Owl drone to get information on what's happening in mid, and all he sees is food inside the dark cover. Okay, here's a push from Shot Up. He actually won't be punished for this pushing up. Maybe he will actually. There's actually a push coming in here from Market, and the Hunter's Fury makes Shot Up. Oh dear, an egg on the Breach's face. You hate to see that. So Immortals, again, in trying to gain that information, they just wager, they commit a little bit too much for it. And yet Gangster, who's not moved from this position all round, is able to find Caboose, who lingers too long by Market. Dangerous. This is dangerous.
Big kills, and Stanley looking sharp even on his death right there. And now it's a 2 versus 3 situation. Immortals looking just to hold the line a little bit here. Stick together. I like this play in spawn right here, Mitch. They're just kind of holding hands a little bit. It's the preschool kind of concept here where you don't need to get too far from each other, because once they kind of let themselves be known with a bomb plan or some utility, you could rotate and catch the trades together.
Nano Swarm here. Unlikely that'll be triggered. Oh, it is. Okay, Mummy gets a bit of a tickle, but again, no real harm or foul. He'll post up on Speedway now, and right now, Envy don't have any information about what the defensive side spawn setup is. Hunter's Fury, this is ready for information, but if Gangster gets a kill, and that's just a bonus. Mummy now, stand and deliver, and it's not remotely enough. Immortals, he'll get the defuse.
There was that left side B main. He just snapped that over and caught the arm of it. That's a solid ult right there. And Immortals, you know, first before this map started, I said if Immortals doesn't start out strong on T side, they might lose this game 13-9 with the confidence that Envy was bringing. But Immortals literally didn't lose any confidence. It didn't seem like they let the first map phase them, and they came out strong, took the fight they needed to fight, and then eventually turned into a 13-7 win.
I mean, they're looking very good. They're also able to, you know, shut down Food, who's been such a menace over that first map. And, you know, Chemicals gets the operator in hand a little bit more now and really starts to make it sing, playing over towards that B side. And we get to see a little bit of this interplay, right, with the Breach. Setting up Chemicals to find those early picks on defense, right? You know, you send the flashpoint in, you can always, you know, tailwind away. And, you know, what is impressive about Immortals is they just give up mid, right? Gangster can sit back in defender side spawn. You know, giving out mid doesn't necessarily make them feel overly vulnerable. They're very good at putting together these quick retake scenarios here, and Envy got frustrated. This time, the information was constantly just out of their grasp.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we talked about the extremities. The guys on Immortals, they kept pushing A main early with the drone or the Omen and getting that cleared, and then they were just comfortable. It seems like when they did lose fights, they knew they were coming. JC Standing pushing off Cat, right? When a couple rounds where they did die early, Shot Up in when he got ulted B main. He knew it was potentially happening. So it seems like their aggression had thought and feeling behind it, and they held on to that. And now I'm interested to see how this is going to carry to the third map. I think the last time these two teams played, this was the one map Envy did actually win. So I'm curious to see how these teams have developed since then. The aggression in this map is kind of ridiculous. I think this is where the Reynas are massive, because all those close angles at B and A main, where you could, it's so, even with the new update, getting that first kill on A on that off angle and just being able to dismiss away and have the snowball effect of your defense being able to even play a retake, but Reyna still takes a fight early. Those type of situations are going to be key to which team kind of has the round-to-round advantages.
Not to mention that, you know, we see teams, you know, especially Immortals, trying to get use out of Viper and Sage both. You know, JC Starting plays a Sage. We get Nature, I think, on the Viper. So, you know, it's some variation in technique here. And teams are just now starting to make more use of the middle part of the map, right? Whether it's into tube or they go under tube and try and make their way into kitchen from there. So we're seeing evolutions. You talked about, I feel like, the first, second, and third stage of a meta, right? I feel like we're starting to see that on Icebox now, is that people avoided middle. They made long rotates to the sides. Now they start thinking a little bit more about how they can control that main egress point through the middle of the map. But we'll not spoil it. We'll save that until the next map. Make no mistake, Immortals now are really trading blows with the best teams in North America game after game. This one no different. Both these teams looking black and blue, and it all goes down on Icebox to decide the series. Stick around. We'll be back with that last map in a moment.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
I feel like I need to defend my scene's honor here, because this is just turning into a bit of a dog battle.
Like in groups, always look.
I'm cutting
they
you
always
off
look
here. I'm
lackluster.
cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
We need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
But
that's no
that being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.
Oh, baby. Contrast stitching. Curves that'll hug your body. Adjustable arms. Custom embroidery. Memory foam pillows. Changeable color inserts. Lay flat, recline. Removable logos. Soft, durable material. Yeah. You like what you see, baby? Zip check.